Greetings from the Tucker High School Counseling Department. Today we will be discussing important information that is vital for high school graduation and post-secondary planning. I'm Mr. Charles Walker, counselor for students in grades 9 through 11 with the last names H through N. Helping me present today is my co-worker and counselor, Mrs. Walker. Ms. Walker, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Ms. Walker, counselor at Tucker High School for alphabets A through G, grades 9 through 11. And first we're going to start off talking about graduation requirements, credits, and promotions. In order to meet graduation requirements for DeKalb County, students will need to graduate with a total of 24 units. In order to be promoted to the 10th grade, students will need 3 core classes with a total of 6 units. In order to be promoted to the 11th grade, students will need 6 core classes with a total of 12 units. And in order to be promoted to the 12th grade, students will need 9 core classes with a total of 18 units. And we have 3 major diploma types. One is the regular college prep diploma, and the one is a career tech diploma, and the other one is honors and distinction. Honors and distinction requires you to graduate with a 3.5 for a GPA and 3 units of the same foreign language. So that would be, for example, Spanish 1, Spanish 2, and Spanish 3. And the only difference in the college prep diploma and the career tech diploma is the number of foreign language classes that you will take. The career tech will require 1 and the college prep requires 2. And now I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Walker to discuss EOCTs.
As far as the end of course test is concerned, EOCT stands for end of course test. There are several EOCTs. Usually they're offered in the 9th and 10th grade. In the area of language arts, there's a Lit 9 EOCT. In the area of science, there's a biology and physical science end of course test. In mathematics, there's a Math 1, Integrated Math 1, and Integrated Math 2 end of course test. And there are other EOCTs that are offered in the later grades. In the 11th grade, there's an American Literature EOCT. And in the 11th grade year, students also take U.S. History. And as a senior, there's an economics end of course test. The reason this is significant, particularly as it relates to graduation, is students who pass at least one end of course test are exempt from the Georgia High School graduation test. Students in the 9th and 10th grade, based on a new rule change, only have to pass the writing test for Georgia High School graduation. All juniors have to take and pass the Georgia High School graduation tests or pass at least one of their end of course tests. At this point, I'm going to allow Ms. Walker to talk with you guys about joint enrollment and move on when ready.
Joint enrollment requires a student to attend Tucker High School half of the school day, and then the other half of the day you will go to a college. And Move On When Ready, you will spend the entire day in college. And during this time, you will earn college credit and high school credit at the same time. And it requires you to contact the college of your choice that's participating in the program. And they have a GPA requirement, an SAT, and an ACT requirement. And you will contact the school, and they have joint enrollment counselors or dual enrollment counselors, and they will give you additional information. And if you're accepted into the program, you bring your acceptance letter down to the counseling office, and we will create a schedule that will fit Tucker High School and will fit the college that you're participating in joint enrollment or Move On When Ready with. And you also, in order to prepare for college a little bit more, you also want to attend college fairs and college visits. You want to make sure that you get those done. You want to check out the college security. You want to check out academic requirements. You want to check out financial aid requirements. And you also want to check out the area to see if it's a place that is suitable for you and your parents in order for you to spend the next 4 years or 2 years of your college career there. And you can also go to georgiapro.org, and that's where you can actually view college information on college fairs and visits of things of that nature. And I'm going to turn it back over to Mr. Walker.
Okay, and guys, when you go to the college fair, make sure that you'll be asked to provide an unofficial transcript. You want to also make sure that your social media is in order, that you have professional voicemail greetings, professional email address, Very important. And that social media, things like Facebook are in order. You don't have anything that's inappropriate out there on Facebook, because colleges do tend to Google search you and look at you. We need to talk about the difference between the cumulative GPA and the core GPA. A core GPA is a grade point average that's based on just your English, math, science, social studies, and foreign language grades. A cumulative GPA is your grade point average based on every course that you've had in high school, which includes your electives. It's very important that you understand that, because some colleges look at your core GPA for admission purposes. Some colleges look at your cumulative GPA, so it's important to know the difference. As far as the Hope Scholarship is concerned, there are two different versions of Hope now. The traditional Hope Scholarship requires a 3.0 core GPA. You could become a Hope Scholarship recipient before you graduate high school, obviously, and you could even become a scholarship recipient after you graduate high school. Zell Miller is the other version of Hope. Zell Miller pays 100% tuition. That's the difference. Hope pays about 90% of the tuition. To get the Zell Miller Scholarship, you have to get at least a 1200 on the first administration of the Scholastic Aptitude Test. And you have to have a 3.3 core based on the Georgia Student Finance Commission. One thing that's very important for all students, probably the single most important things that all students can do, is create a Georgia College 411 account. The reason this is significant is because it's a one-stop shop, if you will. Students are able to do SAT preparation and ACT preparation on Georgia College 411. They're able to look for scholarships and learn about financial aid, even apply for financial aid on Georgia College 411. They're able to do career interest inventories and try to determine what it is they want to do in the future on Georgia College 411. You could also see your core GPA calculation on Georgia College 411 and see where you stand as far as your core GPA is concerned. So it's very important that you guys create Georgia College 411 accounts early on, so you can get organized. It kind of helps you with creating a checklist as well, so you can understand the things that you need to be doing every year in the 9th, 10th, 11th, and of course 12th grade. Georgia College 411 is also great for looking at school profiles to determine which school or college you want to go to. As Ms. Walker was saying, you want to look at the admission requirements, the programs of study at various colleges, how much the school costs. You want to look at school affordability. You want to look at the demographic of the school, the location of the school, the classroom size. Georgia College 411 is a great vehicle to look at both in-state school profiles and out-of-state school profiles. At this point, we're going to let Ms. Walker talk to you guys about something called the Gates Millennium Scholarship.
The Gates Millennium Scholarship is offered by Bill Gates, and this is where he pays tuition all the way up through grad school. In order to meet the qualifications for this, you must be a minority, have a GPA of at least 3.2, and be on free and reduced lunch. In order to apply for financial aid, you will need to complete the FAFSA form, and you will do this usually during your senior year. And this form will discuss with you about the Pell Grant, and the Pell Grant is based on your financial status, and it's based on household income. And it'll also ask you if you want to participate in student loans, and it'll also ask you if you want to participate in work study. It will also talk to you about housing, if you want to live on campus or off campus. So the form is all encompassing of a few things that are financial things about school. So make sure that you discuss it with your parents, and you guys sit down together and complete the FAFSA form when it's actually time. And I'm going to turn it back over to Mr. Walker.
Another important website or resource you guys need to be aware of is questbridge.org. It's QUESTBRIDGE.org. It's a partnership between Ivy League schools and private schools to help students get school paid for. This financial conversation is a very important one as you begin to do post-secondary planning beyond high school. Please note that Ivy League schools are extremely expensive, so are private schools. An example of a Ivy League school would be like Yale, Princeton, Stanford, Harvard. A private school would be a school such as Spelman, which is a historical black college and university, or a school like Emory University. What you'll find, as financially speaking, is that they're very expensive. If you go to questbridge.org, you're usually able to find ways to get school paid for. It's a great resource that helps with financial aid and scholastic scholarships to pay for schools that tend to be a little bit more expensive, or a lot more expensive than public institutions. An example of a public institution would be like Valdosta State and Albany State and Kennesaw State, the University of Georgia, and Georgia Tech. These are public institutions. Public institutions tend to be a lot more affordable. Therefore, the Zell Miller Scholarship does well, and the Hope Scholarship does well at public institutions. As you begin to apply for private schools, though, you're going to probably need financial assistance of some sort. At Emory right now, they have Emory Advantage, which is their version of financial aid. And if you can get accepted into a private school such as Emory Advantage is very beneficial. You could end up going to a school that's private like Emory, cheaper than going to Georgia State. So it's important to kind of know where to look. Things like the Gates Millennium are huge. Questbridge.org is a huge website. Another thing you could do, or that you guys need to be aware of, is fastweb.com and Scholarship Plus. These are two great resources for students to begin to look for smaller scholarships. Very important that you guys start looking for scholarships to help pay the difference from what Hope Scholarship might not necessarily pay, because it pays about 90%. Very important that you guys are active trying to find some scholarships. Another thing that will help defer the costs of college is SAT waivers and ACT waivers, and I'll let Ms. Walker speak with you guys about waivers.
In order to enter college, most of the time you will need to take the SAT or the ACT. They are college entrance exams, and there's a fee associated with those exams. College Board provides students with an opportunity to waive the fee for those exams. So if you are eligible to receive free or reduced lunch, you can have a waiver. During your 11th grade year, you can come down to the counseling office, and Ms. Wynn is the counseling secretary. She will give you one SAT waiver and one ACT waiver during your junior year. When you are a senior, she will give you another SAT waiver and another ACT waiver in addition to 4 college application waivers. Outside of those chances to take the SAT and the ACT without paying the fee, you will have to pay the fee if you want to continue taking the test any other times. And then you can also get your transcript request completed with Ms. Wynn. On this form, you can select up to about 3 colleges on there as to where you want it to go. You will have to bring in an envelope that has a stamp, and it must be addressed as to where you want it to go. Ms. Wynn will complete the transcript request, and she will mail it off to the address that you put on the envelope. And then it also asks on that form if you would like a college recommendation completed. And this also applies to scholarships. Some scholarships will ask for a recommendation as well. So that means the information will be given to your counselor that you would like a recommendation, and then you will also complete an awards, honors, or some sort of sheet of organizations of things that you participated in throughout your high school career. And that sheet will, the counselor will use it to talk about things in the recommendation forms of hobbies and interests and things that you like and things that you participated in during school. And those things will be mailed off by Ms. Wynn as soon as they're completed. And the counselor has 10 days to actually mail that off. So in order to not miss any deadlines for the college, you want to make sure that you get all that information and forms completed to the counseling department 10 days prior to the due date. And you want to even bring it in a little bit sooner, because sometimes things happen with the postal service. So you want to make sure that your information arrives to the university or college of your choice in time. And now back to Mr. Walker.
Right, that's so very important that you guys get involved in some type of honor award, some type of community service, some type of club, organization, and some type of extracurricular activities. What colleges are looking for is that you guys excel in whatever it is you do. You don't necessarily have to do everything, but colleges want you to show leadership in the thing that you're participating in and to excel in it. So if it's community service, an example, if it's Habitat for Humanity, be the person that organizes the project. That's very important that happens. If it's an extracurricular activity such as playing an instrument, make sure that your first chair try to be exemplary, try to get some type of honor, award, recognition, and distinction. That's really what separates you. The reason that's important is because of the college admissions process. Colleges look at a couple things. The first thing, the most important thing that colleges look at when considering you for admission is your SAT and ACT score. So that's why it's important to register for the test, to take the test, but more importantly to do SAT preparation. The second thing that colleges look at is your grade point average. So important, particularly with you ninth graders, that you guys hit the ground running and do really well in your courses. But colleges look at your GPA. So GPA maintenance and improvement is vital, particularly in grades 9, 10, 11, because you actually apply to college as a senior in the fall of your senior year. And so the grades that you already earned previously in 9 through 11 are going to be the grades that they're considering. So it's very important that your GPA is competitive. You want to have at least a 2.5 or better because of the competitive nature of college admissions. So 2.0 is a C, a 3.0 is a B, average. So a 2.5 gets you separated from average. So it's very important that you do that. It's important also that you guys take rigorous courses, such as accelerated gifted courses. It's very important that you take accelerated gifted and advanced placement courses, because as colleges begin to consider students for admissions, and it's a logjam, if you will, it's like you have everybody, all the applicants have a 2.5 or all the applicants have a 3.0. The more rigorous your transcript is, they tend to give those students the nod that took more challenging courses in high school. The third thing they look at, as we mentioned before, is your honors, awards, recognitions, community service. So make sure that you're excelling in whatever it is you do and that you're showing great leadership in those things. Those are primarily the things that colleges look at for admission. So it's important to get an early start in grades 9 through 11. SAT prep is very important. In the packets that you guys will receive, there's a lot of resources in there. One of the ways you could do SAT prep is you could buy the book and do practice questions. You could use this website called the Princeton Review and do practice questions. You could also practice questions on Georgia College 411, which is why that's a huge website, because you could do all of these things we mentioned. You could look for scholarships, financial aid. You could do everything on Georgia College 411, including SAT prep and practice. So important that you prep for the test, because sometimes the content on the test is very difficult and challenging. You want to be exposed to it. The vocabulary words are big. There's a lot of writing. There's a writing portion to the SAT, so you want to make sure that you're writing a lot. Very important that you do that. And with the math in particular, math is a subject that you have to use it or you'll lose it. So you have to practice your mathematics. Very important that you practice the math and that you get exposed to advanced math. Some of the mathematics on the SAT is advanced, so you want to make sure that you've seen it. Very important to practice, and then obviously in addition to getting the practice questions, work with somebody that's proficient in mathematics. That doesn't necessarily have to be a math teacher. That could be a student. You could do study groups, find SAT preparation workshops to go to. If you're creative, you can find inexpensive ways to do SAT prep. Maybe check with your local public library if they're offering any SAT preparation classes. Emory University is good about offering a summer SAT preparation workshop. Strongly recommend that one. But make sure you do a good job with SAT prep, and of course, private vendors. You could go through Kaplan or Sylvan and do private SAT preparation. Okay, but that's going to be very important because you want to pass the eyeball test as colleges begin to look at you. For the elite public schools, private schools, and Ivy League schools, generally speaking, you want to get a 1700 or better on the SAT. 17, 18, 19, below 2000s. That's kind of what your competition is hitting around. When you're talking about an elite public school, that's what, like Florida State, Georgia Tech, those kind of schools, University of Georgia. Right now, the average at UGA is about an 1800. To go into other public institutions, usually 1140 to a 1350 to get it done. But this is why it's important to take the PSAT as a 9th grader, 10th grader to see where you are, but definitely do some SAT preparation before you take the real SAT your junior year. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Walker. She's going to talk to you guys about advanced placement courses in the AP exams.
All right, earlier I talked about joint enrollment and move on when ready as ways of earning college credit while you're in high school. Another way of doing that is by enrolling in AP classes. AP classes are college classes in high school where you can also receive college credit if you score at least 3 or higher on the AP exam.
school affordability is very important. If you look at your SAT score and your GPA in terms of money, it makes a lot of sense. And so it's very important that you all really focus on your grades, your grade point average, the SAT. Because at the end of the day, if you get a really good SAT score, then you're going to qualify for great scholastic scholarships. The reason you want to get a scholastic scholarship is because many times those scholarships help with out-of-state tuition fees. Please note, it's very important that as you guys begin to look at schools, again, public institutions tend to be more affordable, private schools are more expensive, Ivy League schools are even more expensive. But if you get scholastic scholarships, a lot of times the schools will waive your out-of-state tuition fees. Usually the only student that is able to get out-of-state tuition fees waived are student athletes, but it's very important that you guys take your academics serious, especially if you have aspirations of going to schools out of state. Our hope, obviously, is that you would stay in the Peach State and consider some of the great institutions in Georgia and take full advantage of the Zell Miller and Hope Scholarship. But definitely so important that you guys get a really good SAT score and that you keep your grade point average up, because it has serious implications for the type of schools that you could look at. For students that are struggling and that may need to recover credits, we definitely have some alternatives for those students. Georgia Virtual School is a computer-based class or school where you can recover credits. I am the Georgia Virtual School Coordinator, so what students would need to do is come and see me, Mr. Walker, to complete the registration process for Georgia Virtual School. Students can take the course for free if there's room in the schedule and we're able to drop an elective, and the school can receive the bill for the course if there's room in the schedule to drop an elective. However, if the student needs all 7 classes that they're scheduled for, the cost of Georgia Virtual School is $250 for half a credit, which the student will take outside of the school day, and it'll be $500 for a whole credit. Another thing a student can do to get caught up if they were to fall behind in their credits is look at Elizabeth Andrews High School, or called, as students call it, and most popularly known by the name of Open Campus.
Elizabeth Andrews High School is a way of recovering credits that are lost, and you can also earn more units at Open Campus Elizabeth Andrews High School than you can at Tucker High School, because Tucker High School offers 7 completed units a year, and Elizabeth Andrews High School can offer up to 8. And just because you're over there, you can still participate in activities. You're still a Tucker High School student as long as you're in our attendance area. So on your diploma, it can actually say that Tucker High School is your graduating school. Or you can graduate with Elizabeth Andrews High School if you'd like.
Okay, guys. Hopefully this information that you received today will help you in your post-secondary planning. Everything we covered is so vitally important that you're all aware of the financial aid process, the importance of looking for scholarships, visiting colleges, graduation requirements, so important. And we hope this information was beneficial, and we hope that these things will be a great resource to you. And good luck in advisement and post-secondary planning. On behalf of the Tucker High School Counseling Department, we would like to thank you for your attention, and we hope that you find this information beneficial in your post-secondary planning. And remember, a diploma really makes a difference.